youtube.com/openupyourmind101.
I want to ask you, what are some of the pros and cons of the soy?
Well, the soy, like all plants, make a certain element that is poisonous. Every plant has to protect itself from insects and people. So it may be high in one element like iron or arsenic, copper, and if you eat too much of it, it hurts you. And that's what plants do. They protect themselves with one element. And soy does the same thing. It's not a bad plant. It's just protecting itself like all plants do. The problem here in the U.S. is that people eat a lot of soy. That's meat substitute, but it's never presented a problem in China. It's never presented a problem in Japan. They don't eat soy like they do here in the U.S. Soybeans, soy sausage, soy this, soy bacon, soy. They just eat a lot of soy here, and then they say it's something wrong with the soy. There's nothing wrong with the soy. It's something wrong with the people who are eating that large amount of soy. Particularly the commercial soy, which is using pesticides, herbicides, and all that sort of thing. It's not the soy. It's the overconsumption of it. If they ate it like the Chinese did, cut a couple of slices and put it in some soup, it would present no problem.
Okay, that's an interesting take on the soy.
It's just basic botany. Anyone knows a plant has to make a poison to protect itself from insects and people overeating it. Plants do. The thing is, people, if you overconsume whatever the plant is, it's going to hurt you. Even if it's organic, you can't overconsume it. You have to have a variety, and people just overconsume soy. Then they say there's something wrong with soy. It's absurd.
No doubt. Okay. We get into the issue of white flour, white rice, and the white sugars, because many people, they're not aware of the dangers of these products.
The white flour, which we're talking about, is processed wheat berries. The wheat berry is fine when you eat it whole. That means it has fluid. That means it's partially green.
Yes.
Grains ripen early. Sweet fruits ripen late. They're eating the wheat unripe. That's the first thing. Second thing is they're just taking one part of the wheat out called the starch and leaving out the vitamins and minerals and the water that's necessary to metabolize or digest the wheat. So therefore, they are eating a drug. When you isolate any substance, any chemical in a plant, you have created a drug. If I isolate the cocaine in the cocoa bean, I have a drug. If I isolate the heroin in the poppy, I have a drug. If I isolate the starch out of the wheat berry, I have a drug. And like all drugs, it wreaks havoc on the system, causes the system to deteriorate. It's a starvation food. Bleached white flour, white sugar, white salt, sodium chloride are starvation foods, and they harm the body. They weaken the system because the body wants whole foods, a whole wheat berry. That's what the body wants. It doesn't want bleached white flour, which is a starch, which is technically a drug. That's the problem. We don't have an understanding. We have a miseducation, as Carter G. Woodson said. We have a miseducation about food, a miseducation about our diet, even a miseducation about Africa, the continent itself. We are totally miseducated, and that's what's causing our problem. Not food, is our miseducation that leads us to the junk foods. We got to get away from the fried foods, which we call hydrocarbons or hydrogenated fat or trans oils. Got to get away from that fried foods. Get away from putting sodium chloride, which you call table salt, which is technically a poison in all chemistry books. Got to get off of that. You got to get off the white sugar. We got to go back to nature's food, the whole grains, the whole foods, no partial foods, so we can get our whole health back and get away from this spiral of mental illness and diabetes and arthritis and heart attacks and strokes and hyperactivity and tooth loss and AIDS, and we're just in a downward spiral.
Yes. Can you share a quick list of the foods that, like, if we go in the food shop tomorrow, can you give us about 20 foods that we need to get, like, right now to do the change?
Right now, we need brown rice, not white rice, a variety of beans, not just the Navy's beans. Get a variety of beans and know how to mix the nuts and seeds together to get a protein balance. That's a bean with a seed, a sesame seed. See, we're mixing things together to get the right balance. Then we want to, because your diet should be basically 70% carbohydrates, and that is not bleached white flour and potatoes. I'm talking about spinach, broccoli, cauliflower. All of those are carbohydrates, but we need the green carbohydrates. We need 15% fat, 15% protein. But that's not cooked fat. That's the fat you find in avocados, the fat you find in sesame seeds, the fat you find in almonds. I'm talking about nature's fat, not the fats made in the factory. So getting back to that kind of understanding, and getting away from things that have been processed and dyed. So I'm saying the beans, the brown rice, just to start. Just starting here.
Mm-hmm.
Some broccoli, some cauliflower, some spinach, some collard greens, some callaloo. Just getting back to those basic foods and learning how to taste them for what they are without putting salt and sugar on everything. The food has a flavor, and we got to get back to accepting the flavor that the food has because it triggers the right, what we call in physiology, right enzymes. So the food has a flavor, and that flavor triggers the body to make the right enzymes to break it down. But when you put sugar on it, you're disguising the food, so it disguises the proper enzymes so the food doesn't get broken down properly because you didn't freak the food by putting sugar on it, the salt. You turned it into a damn freak. Now you're becoming a freak eating freak. So we got to get away from freaking the food and taste it for what it is. It was made to be good by God. So you're just saying, God, you made a mistake. You should have put salt on this damn potato. And you got to stop doing this stuff and just enjoy the food for what it is so you can enjoy yourself for what you are, an African person.
No doubt. For many of us that are eating a lot of fruits, what is some fruits that you recommend that we really begin to stock up on?
Fruits such as string beans, which is a fruit, cauliflower, which is a fruit, broccoli, which is a fruit, cucumbers, which is a fruit. I'm naming fruits. Okra is a fruit. Squash is a fruit. Pumpkins are a fruit. We're just thinking sweet fruits because that's what the Europeans said. Sweet, a fruit. No, the okra is a fruit. String beans is a fruit. We got to get back to eating the green fruits. Those foods will enhance your body. But we begin to go into our miseducation and thinking that fruits are only supposed to be a banana, apple, or plantain or something. I'm talking about all the fruits that God has made, the cauliflower, the broccoli, the okra, the pumpkins, the squash, the cucumbers, fruit, peanuts, beans. Peanut is a bean, first of all. It's not a nut. Beans, getting back to those fruits. That would be ideal. But people have addiction to food. They have addiction to cell phones, text messages, addiction to sex, addiction to violence, addiction to sugar, addiction to cocaine, addiction to alcohol, addiction to cigarettes, addiction to we are very addicting people. But the thing
we ain't addicted to greens.
Yeah.
But we ain't addicted to greens.
Yeah.
To fruits.
Yeah. There you go. That's
crazy.
But when you have a miseducation, you got to overcome that first. Download your ignorance to upload some intelligence. And a lot of people don't want to give up the ignorance because it's so enjoyable.
youtube.com/openupyourmind101